Marc Thiessen, the absolute brilliance of this strategy and the complication of pulling all these pieces together with modern technology and then coordinating with an entirely different military that, by the way, has many of the same weapons as we do and intelligence and so forth. Have we ever seen anything like this on such a scale?
I don't think we have. I mean, they've been absolutely precise. We've hit 10,000 targets. Everyone was running around saying we hit a school by accident. You know, yeah, by accident. 1 out of 10,000 targets we misfired. I mean, it's just stunning in its precision, but it's also stunning in its strategic outlook, Mark, because what Donald Trump is doing, the biggest mistake American presidents have made for more than a century is we fail to take the words of the enemy seriously. So if you think back to the early 1900s, Vladimir Lenin publishes a pamphlet called What is to be Done, in which he lays out his plan to build a communist empire and wage communist revolution across the world. No one takes him seriously. The Russian Revolution happens. Communism kills 100 million people around the world. Adolf Hitler writes a book called Mein Kampf, in which he declares his intention to build a 1,000-year Reich and eradicate the Jews. No one takes him seriously. The Nazi regime comes to power, kills 25 million people. In 1996, Osama bin Laden publishes a pamphlet in which he publishes a fatwa declaring war in America and say he's going to bring war to the United States. No one pays attention to him. 9/11 happens. 2021. Vladimir Putin publishes an essay. It's still on the presidential website of the Russian presidency, in which he lays out a 6,000-word essay explaining that the Russian people and the Ukrainian people are one, and he's going to reunite them by force if necessary. No one takes him seriously. He invades Ukraine. The Iranian regime has been saying for decades, death to America, death to Israel, and pursuing a nuclear weapon. And Donald Trump is the first president who took the words of the enemy seriously and is acting to stop them before they kill millions of people. I don't know why people can't understand this. They're saying there was no imminent threat. Yeah, well, there was no imminent threat when Lenin said what is to be done, or when Hitler published Mein Kampf, or when bin Laden issued his fatwa, or when Putin made his declaration. You don't wait for the threat to be imminent. You take it out. What we should have done in every one of those cases is dealt with the threat before it emerged to kill millions. And what Donald Trump has done is he has taken on this threat before the Iranian regime could kill millions. And by the way, the difference between Iran getting a nuclear weapon and, say, North Korea is that North Korea wants it so we don't attack them. Iran, these are radical Shiites who want to bring about the apocalypse. That's their entire ideology. Their entire religion is to bring about the last Mahdi so they can, by bringing about the apocalypse. If they got a nuclear weapon, they would use it to bring about the apocalypse. So Donald Trump is stopping them from ever doing that, and history is going to reward him as the first president to take the words of the enemy seriously.
Yeah, I agree. That was beautifully said, 100%. And by the way, what's the plan of Schumer and the Democrats? What is their plan? What's their plan to deal with? They have no plan. They've tried their usual appeasement. They've given them money. They've given them a heightened position. They bend over backwards. They've begged them. They've done everything they can. They were starting to throw Israel to the wolves, do whatever they, and so forth and so on. I also noticed in the minute or so we have left, the same propaganda apparatus, foreign countries getting into our internet, getting to podcasters, getting to our media, the same propaganda that Israel had to deal with Hamas it's like a switch. They turned it on to attack the president, to attack our troops, as well as the Israelis, who are trying again to deal with another enemy.
Well, this is the interesting thing, Mark. The Democrats were up at arms about foreign interference in our elections in 2016. What about foreign interference in our war? Why, we've got people funded by nefarious elements abroad trying to undermine support for the American people, and instead of confronting it, we've got Democrats cooperating with it. You got people out there saying we're losing and this is a disaster, and all the talking points of the Iranian regime are being echoed by elected Democrats and their media echo chamber. Why are you rooting against America? I remember years ago I worked for Senator Jesse Helms, who was one of the greatest conservative senators at that time, the most conservative member in the Senate. And when Bill Clinton went into war in Bosnia, I remember I was his spokesman, and I said something critical in the media about Clinton. And Helms pulled me into his office and said, "Mark, you can say whatever you want when the war is over, but while American troops are fighting, we don't undermine the commander-in-chief." Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief, whether you like it or not. A majority of the American people voted for him. He won the popular vote. And, you know, we should be supporting him while this is happening. And if it doesn't go well, you know, then criticize him after the fact. But stop rooting for the enemy, for crying out loud.
All right, brother. Keep up the good work. God bless you, my friend.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.